So you want to be a farmer. You want to make a living growing food or living off the land. The things that you think are probably the hardest things about farming probably aren't. I'll talk about what those are coming up next on The Urban Farmer. I get a lot of questions and comments in the YouTube channel here and emails of people who have all kinds of questions about, Curtis, I live in a zone 5 climate. Am I going to be able to actually grow food for a living? Or, Curtis, I have this farm, but the soil's crappy. Or, Curtis, I live down south where we've got incredible pest pressure. Am I actually going to be able to make a living farming? Here's the thing, guys. These aren't the things you need to be concerned about. The things that most people think are the hardest part about growing or living off the land or making a living as a farmer, they're not. I have visited many farms all over the world in all kinds of places where most people think you can't grow food. And that is not the issue. The issue isn't the soil you have or the pest problems you have or the climate you're in. The main issues that are going to make farming a challenge for you, and they're the things that you need to address first, are number one, your market. What is the market around you? Who are your customers? How are you going to sell to them? And what's the demand for your product? The issue is not the climate you're in. Somebody emailed me the other day and said, I live in North Dakota. Am I going to be able to farm here? Yes, of course you can farm there. There's people farming in Alaska. There's people farming in the northern parts of Canada. You can farm anywhere. The question is, who's going to buy your stuff and at what price point and what products do they want? That's the number one thing. You've got to figure out what your market stream is. So to this person who says, I live in North Dakota, am I going to be able to farm here? The question isn't about your climate. The question is, are people in your town in North Dakota willing to buy your product at a price that's sustainable for you? That's the thing. That's the number one thing. It's not about the climate, because you can fix climate. You can build a greenhouse. You can use poly-low tunnels. You can extend your season by starting stuff in a nursery and then transplant it out in the field so it isn't in the ground as long. You can grow microgreens all year round. The climate is not the issue, okay? So the second thing, the second most important thing is how you manage your business. Have you done market research? Do you know how to balance accounts? Do you understand the way cash flow works? Can you do the things that a lot of people don't want to do? Because these are the strong points of any successful farm and business, is can you manage the business? The number one thing I see that makes farmers fail is their disability to manage the business. Growing stuff isn't that hard. You know, a seed, you put a seed in the ground, that seed wants to grow. It has one ecological niche in life, and that's to grow. So to get that plant to health isn't that hard, because seeds want to grow. So it's just a little bit of help here and there, a bit of season extension, beefing up your soil with some good organic nutrients. These things aren't complicated, and there's many books written about these things. But how you manage the business, how you go out and find new customers, how you manage employees, how you balance the books at the end of the day, these are the things that are the most important things. The growing, nature has a way of teaching you really quickly. And the thing that I love about being a farmer is that when you put all your cards on the table, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make a living at it, you learn fast. Because when you've got skin in the game, if something isn't selling, you need to figure out, what can I grow that will sell? These are the things that are more important than the soil, the climate, your pest pressure. There's so many ways to figure these things out. And there's so many ways to change these things. But the things you can't change so much is your market stream. Like, you might not be in a city that is ready and willing to buy your product. So that's something that's far more important to consider. And maybe if that's the situation, you might need to move or take your deliver a bit further, or find market streams outside of your area where people want to buy your stuff. All the little idiosyncrasies of your soil and climate, there's so many ways to work that stuff out and work around them. But the market stream is a far more important thing that you need to look at. You can also learn how to manage a business. You know, this is why I wrote a book, this is why I have an online course, is to give people the nuts and bolts on how to do that. Because how to make good compost and how to fix soil, there's so many books and good resources out there on those things. That's why I didn't get into it so much on my book or my online course. We do talk about fertility and things like this, but there's so many ways to figure that stuff out. So again, marketing and business, these are the two things that are really going to make it easier for you and are going to be the two determining factors of what makes you successful as a farm. All these other little things can be figured out, and there's many ways to do that. Watch my YouTube channel, sign up for my online course, read my book. There's many ways to learn this stuff, because I didn't have it all figured out when I started either. I made a ton of mistakes, and yeah, I still make mistakes with growing. I still have failures with climate issues. It gets too cold too quickly, or it gets too hot too quickly. These are things that you can roll with the punches. If you can come in with a strong business plan and marketing plan, I guarantee you're going to crush it right out of the gates. I hope that helps. If you guys found that useful, hit the subscribe button right now, like and share these videos with your friends, and check out my online course, profitableurbanfarming.com, where we really get into the nuts and bolts of how to be successful in marketing and business. I also write about it in my book, and you can buy that at theurbanfarmer.co, and you can find my one-day workshop there as well. And if you'd like to make a donation to the show, it's much appreciated and always welcome. You can do that at theurbanfarmer.co/support. Okay guys, thanks for watching. See you soon.